Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it may be, and whatever part of the world you are in. This is Dr. Don with another daily LightPoint. Thanks for tuning in. We have been exploring this concept or this theme around leading through, and we're pivoting from leading through to leading with. Leading with. There are circumstances, there are factors that influence how we approach our leadership personally and professionally. And I want to talk about the shift in the workplace. We're seeing that predominant workforces are of a millennial generation age or younger. Over statistically 58 to 60% of the working population in the United States is of a millennial and younger generation. With that being said, we also have a significant cross-generational work dynamic occurring. This multi-generational work dynamic is something that businesses and business leaders are continuing to explore and navigate. How do I effectively lead a multi-generational work group or work team? So I want to talk about how do we lead with a multi-generational workforce. When I think about this multi-generational dynamic, it's important for us to examine the complexities of what it means to bring any work group together, especially those that come from different backgrounds and different experiences. So first is recognizing that there will be complexities in how these individuals work together. Right? We can't go in with some assumption that automatically everyone's going to be able to work effectively together. You go in with the premise that I want to put some mechanisms in place to foster as great of an alignment around the team as they navigate the phases of working together, right? Forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning, right? When we think about those phases of any work group coming together and reaching a high performance state, now apply the complexity of a multi-generational team. So when individuals are coming together, you want to create some spaces for those individuals to get to know one another, because as I shared in a previous podcast, we all have biases, and these generational biases also exist and oftentimes are born out of our lived experiences. Individuals encounter other people in other generations in their family dynamics and their friend dynamics, and bringing that to the workplace comes with their biases that are associated with those experiences. So creating space where individuals can get to know one another and being upfront about what those biases may be. You know, let's talk about the biases centered around the older generation and their capacity to leverage technology or not. Let's talk about the biases that relate to millennial or younger generations and the perception that those generations may be lazy. Let's put these biases out, these, in some cases, even prejudices. Let's put them out on the table to disrupt them, to mitigate them. Sometimes even as a new multi-generational team, creating space to have those open conversations become very important in the process of overcoming them. Another step that I would recommend is seek to explore knowledge transfer or knowledge sharing. Mutual knowledge transfer and knowledge sharing. And sometimes a way to do that is to create platforms where the multi-generational workforces can share what their strengths are. You know, what are the things that you're really good at? Not only does that sometimes disrupt biases, because you may find that one generation is really good at something that you didn't think they were good at and vice versa, it also creates space to be able to leverage one another from a collaborative standpoint. Oh, Bob said he's really good at this thing. Rebecca said she's really good at this thing. I'm not really great over that. Let me ask Rebecca for help, and vice versa, because you want to foster this sense of open collaboration and this desire to work with one another and transfer knowledge and ability in certain areas. So it's important to create space for that as well. Knowledge sharing, knowledge transfer. I think it's also important in a multi-generational workforce to appeal to the individual's interests. We can't assume that one generation is interested in the same things. So seek to understand what are their interests and where's their commonality or synergy in that. For example, a younger generational work team member may have a desire to have really significant impact in the work that they're doing. They want to have a power of influence in the decisions that are being made. You may have a tenured generational worker who cares about more of the legacy they're leaving as a professional. Maybe they intend that to be their final step in their professional journey. So how do we take both of those different motivating factors and complement one another? Well, the person that's trying to leave a legacy, you may appeal to their knowledge and capacity in terms of their understanding of the points of influence in a business or with the customers, and leverage them to impart that knowledge and ability into the younger generation work team member who has a desire to have the impact, right? Really seeking to understand motivating factors. They're not all one and the same. So seek to overcome our biases relative to multi-generations, seek to leverage our knowledge from a knowledge transfer standpoint, and seek to understand the factors that motivate us to show up and execute as a team.